Top of the day, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. I'm struggling with this phone, y'all. Trying to get it to stay up here. I got all kind of contraptions hooked up here now. Still haven't figured out how to get the little fluffy ball off. And I also got my battery pack attached to it. Phone is almost dead. I was so tired last night. My arm couldn't even make it to my charger. Not that I didn't try. My arm didn't make it to my charger to plug my phone in. So now I got like 1%. So I had to get my portable battery pack and plug it in. So that's maneuvered up here. And it's so heavy. This thing. All right. So I hope that don't. Nothing looks wrong to y'all from that side, but from my side, it's obstructing my view, but it's not obstructing my camera. But anyway, happy Wednesday, people. It is September the 7th, 2022, day 206 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1224. And today we are picking back up in the book of Safa in Oahspe on page 566. And we're going to reread. Did I say we was going to read that, right? We're going to reread that 2-verse chapter called Ahura Mazda, Creator, and then we're going to continue on, and we'll probably finish. Yeah, we're gonna probably finish the rest of this today. All right, beautiful people. So let's get started. Father, time is suspended in your presence, and yet it's also redeemed. Yeah, it's like a two-sided thing happening, right? Because when you go, it's like, where did the time go? And then it seems like time that you lost, not just in the presence of the Creator, right? Not just there, but when you come back, it's like time is redeemed. It's like when you come back with information and wisdom, and you get the downloads, it's like time is redeemed in your life, right? Things you can fix through wisdom, and it redeems the time, right? All right. Page 566. Y'all might be struggling this morning. I only went to sleep like 2 hours ago, right? All right. So we was up. We got all this laundry that's been piled up already from everybody, and so we decided, we was like, maybe we'll wait till our next resort down day, which is tomorrow. But we ain't really want to be stuck doing laundry and having to go out and look for stuff again. So we finally, last night, after we got everybody bathed and in the bed and stuff, me and James just left out the room. We got teenage adults here. But we left out to go find and look in the laundry room and stuff, and we found one. So we decided to come all the way back, get all of the laundry for everybody, right? Even the teenage adults, and went all the way back. And this was, shucks, we got back to the resort almost midnight because the park closed at 11. We stayed for the fireworks.
After midnight, we out there doing that. And then while that's going on, they have these huge, they got games everywhere, but huge life-size games on the ground. We was playing checkers. James was beating my tail, right? So he was like, that's it, let's go. I was like, nope, let's play another game. By this time, we had already been back, switched the laundry out, put it in the dryer. So our dryer was sitting in there for like another 30 minutes after it was done while we out there playing checkers. And I'm like, we're going to have to play this again. He's like, girl, let's go. So now I'm struggling. I can barely keep my eyes open. But anyway, hello, beautiful people. Set apart living. Happy new day. Anita, greetings, greetings. Auntie Belinda Brown, happy Wednesday. Vanette, greetings. Elijah, grand rising family praises. Be unto the Creator. Going to work, I'll be listening. Have a wonderful day at work. Elijah, be safe while driving. Kendrick, shalom. Nicole, greetings. Hannah, shalom, shalom. Mom, shalom, shalom. Yare, Ya, Dread Nazir. Bless up, Creator, gang, gang. All right, y'all, let's get started. Okay, so Ahura Mazda, under it says Creator. We're on page 566. Remember, this chapter is 2 verses. Descended by the Yeha light through mortals, and in the Vedan gods, revealed from Zarathustra in Juan, Zend and Hazariyi, and thence into Vedic, and thence into Sanskrit, and by Brahma and by Buddha. These then that follow are the pillars of light of great Jehovah, still standing as the remnants of his beloved sons and daughters in the east. Ariana, the good created things, and Ramanius, the evil created things. Gal, place of science in heaven. Mori, the second holy heaven. Bhakti, third holy place in heaven. Haroyu, confederate republics in heaven. Hay, Hay, Haytumat, emancipated heaven above the lower or bound heavens. The next section under that is the basis of Vedi. Variana, a circle divided by cross lines into 4 quarters, made for the Threteano, a holy name, which had power over the Dahaka, serpent, i.e. evil. Right? So that's the symbol on the front, right? With the cross lines going all the way through the circle for Oahspe. Nasai, faith, belief, a created place in the unseen heavens, which nurtureth man's soul, created by Ahura Mazda, the good creator. I'm just ahead of time, forgive me for these names. I know I'm about to screw up. Verse 3, Kan The'u Zahada, unbelief, a place in the unseen heavens which nurtureth unbelief in mortals, created by Anramaeus, the evil creator. Yatu, to sin against Ahura Mazda or against one's own being. Hapta Hindu, India, land of 7 rivers. Yima, a savior, self assumed Lord of the earth, a spirit with many provinces and atmosphere. He sent emissaries, spirits, to the temples and oracles of India for over 1,000 years, and thus compelled mortals to worship him. He said he was the son of Ahura Mazda during doing his will. He claimed to have been born of me, mother of the Creator, and he was the only begotten Son, that he lived on earth and worked miracles, even cleaving the earth asunder and enlarging it. Through him and his spirit emissaries, mortals were inspired to construct the written doctrines of the Vedas as they are now, to prevent his final overthrow in atmosphere, where he had 400 million slaves. And after to prevent, it has reference number 33. And down at the bottom, 33 says, now are for his final. Let me just read the whole sentence again. Through him and his spirit emissaries, mortals were inspired to construct the written doctrines of the Vedas as they are now, to prevent his final overthrow in atmosphere, where he had 400 million slaves. Devas, all evil, and evil men in general, but a real and holy acting Deva is a sodomite. Drux nagus, literally rotten, rotting. It's giving you the word and then it's giving you the definition of the word. I'm sure y'all figured that out by now. Shebrew, all praises to the Creator. All right. Verse 7, page 567. Devas, all evil and evil men in general, but a real and holy acting deva is a sodomite. Drux negus, literally rotting, also that decomposition of flesh which becometh food for insects and vermin. Crossha or Croatia, an angel sent by the Creator speaking for him. Drux and Devadrux are sinful men. Tishtria, an angel from the still heavens who ruled the flocks of mortals. He was said to reside on Sirius, and that star was afterward named after him, and mortals afterward worshiped the star, forgetting the legend of their forefathers. People still talking about Sirius. Fritz, shalom, shalom. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. Verse 12, page 567. Satara or Gura, who in like manner dwelt on a star and was forgotten in the lapse of ages, and the star worshipped. Let me just read it over. Verse 12. Satara or Gura, who in like manner dwelt on a star and was forgotten in the lapse of ages, and the star worshipped in his head. Zami, another angel who became a star in like manner. Urvar, also a star thus named. Gogpin, ditto. These different gods were originally assigned certain labor on earth. One had charge of all growing things in the water, another of the purity of vegetable seeds, another of grain seeds, another of breeding of horses and cows. Got a funny story about cows from yesterday. Listen, let me read it. Look. I've been trying to upload the video. Hold on. One had charge of all growing things in the water, another of the purity of vegetable seeds, another of grains, another of breeding of horses and cows, another of mortal marriages, another of young children, newborn. Let me pause right here real quick. Let me tell y'all this real quick story. Okay, so yesterday, let me stretch. Y'all my back crack. I'm literally struggling this morning. Okay, so if I fall asleep while I'm reading, don't worry, I'm gonna wake back up. I perfected the art of sleeping while standing. Okay, so yesterday we went to Epcot, right? Tabitha, shalom, Shayla, great rising. So while we was in Epcot was really cool. It was I really like the way they set it up, and I thought it was going to be, let's say it's really, really cool and children love Epcot because the rides aren't so thrilling that they are, yet it's really child friendly where even smaller children can get on right. But anyway, we'll get to the point. So we're at Epcot in Disney World, and the kids, of course, before we even get in Disney World real good, I'm hungry. Like, listen, we're going to eat a little bit afternoon, because out there doing all that walking, you want to get on the rides, you don't want to have a full stomach, and then somebody hurls all over the place, right? And so we out there, we get a little snack before we go, drink your water, you got your camelbacks, let's get moving. As we're moving through here, you're going to forget you're hungry, right? Listen, Jamia, shalom. So around about noon, actually by this time, after getting off this other ride, it was a little bit afternoon. And so James said, where y'all want to go eat? They said, CC's Pizza. We found CC's Pizza on our first resort day where we just chilling at the resorts from all the parks, right? So they said, let's go back to CC's Pizza. So we leave out of the Disney complex. We go to the CC's again. And on the way back, here's where the cow story come in. On the way back, there is this huge lightning strike. Oh, I gotta tell y'all might know this already, but let me just take a quick detour. Then I come back to the cows. Okay, so on the way to CC's Pizza. We was like, ooh, we glad that we decided to take our lunch break during this time right here, because the rain for Orlando started at that moment. We was in the car. We didn't get soaking wet like we did the other day. Had to go buy a little Mickey Mouse rain ponchos and stuff, because that rain went on for like almost 3 hours, right? It was like, let's just get out here in the rain and just keep going, right? So the rain started. It was this huge lightning strike and literally lit up the entire sky. When I say that lightning strike went from one end of the sky all the way to the other, it went from one end of the sky all the way to the other, with different little sparks of lightning coming out the side of that lightning bolt on both sides, right? And so I was like, you know what? This is really, really interesting. I wonder why. Why does it rain in Orlando, in Florida, every single day, right? Some people probably understand how weather works, right? But we figured, let's just look it up. So we looked it up and we found out that Florida, think about all the hurricanes and all that stuff that they get. Florida is the central spot, and not just Florida, but Orlando, Florida is smack dab right in the middle of where the southern and the eastern winds meet. One is warm, one is cold. Every day about noon, they call it the sea currents, right? So you have these sea currents from the oceans coming in with Florida. Think about the map and how Florida is off of here. You got one sea coming from this way and the other end of the sea coming from here. One is cold, one is hot, right? They clash together. Y'all ever seen the seas that they come together? One is freshwater, one is salty, but the two never twain. They just right there. They just clashing and they running along. They never mix. That's what's happening right here with Orlando, with Florida, and Orlando, Florida, being the centralmost point of those southern and eastern winds coming together, right? And as the condensation from the Rocky Mountains, and my husband said it was the Appalachian. I was like, I couldn't remember, but the Rocky Mountains, and also um it could be the Appalachians, but it's a combination of all those things coming together, and it happens every day in the afternoon part of the day, maybe like from noon to like 5. Sometime it'll span, but always, every single day. That's why it always rains in the afternoon. During that time, that's when all of this is happening in real life in the earth for this region. And every day, like clockwork, it makes that, and have these thunderstorms, all of this stuff. So that's a really fun fact about the Earth's atmosphere and some of the things that we should know and understand, right? And so we ain't walking around mad all like, oh my God, it always rains here. I ain't never moving to Florida. But the process, if you understand what's really going on, it's actually beautiful, right? So us and the kids who was talking about that, I'm like, this is one of these cool things you would learn about when you're really learning about the vortex of the earth and etheria and the atmosphere and stuff. I was like, it's amazing. So now I got a whole nother respect for Florida, and I ain't so much worried about what's happening, because if you live here, guess what you can do? You know, afternoon, the rain gonna probably come. So whatever you do, go do it before the rain starts, or decide to go out after the rain is done, right? And the rest of the day is beautiful, so we learned that. But anyway, so we went to CZ's Pizza, and then we came back. On the way back, there was this huge lightning strike. Remember, we started with the lightning bolt strike, but when the lightning lit up the whole sky, James' GPS, because we was using his GPS, right? His GPS went out. It just like it flashed, and it stopped his navigation, right? And so, and it stopped it right at the point we were supposed to not take this exit, but go up a little bit further and take this other exit. And he said, wait a minute, I don't know where I'm going. I forgot. And I was like, I wasn't even paying attention. I'm trying to upload some videos from the trip to Facebook and Instagram, right? And so I was like, I don't know, babe. And so he just got off. But when he got off, it wasn't one of them exits where you can just like do the whole loop-de-loop, right? Just get off and get right back on. And it wasn't one of them, right? So while we trying to get the GPS, first I hit it And then I just the last one, which I thought was the resort, that wasn't it. And so it started taking us out of the way a little bit. And a few minutes after getting into it, we realized, wait a minute, we're going in the wrong direction. And so we went back, hit it again, put in the right address for the resort. And this time now we out. About this time, the kids is in the back. They making the most of it. You know, they're not fighting. They're actually sitting back there telling jokes. So Bella, the whole ride, Mom, you want me to tell you a joke? I said, yeah, Tootie, tell me a joke. And her jokes are only funny in the aspect that she's really trying to understand what a joke is and what a punchline is. So when you listen, if you go to Facebook, when you listen, it's like 18 minutes full of shenanigans, the kids telling jokes, me and James hollering, laughing in the background, and adding in some craziness at the end. 18 minutes full of Lost Road shenanigans in Orlando, right? And so Josiah says, so while we're lost, and now it's raining and stuff still, thunder and lightning, I decided, you know what, the sky is so beautiful. And ever since we had learned that, well, I've been taking all kind of pictures of the sky anyway, because the clouds are just different. Now I understand why. I said, do you see the formation of these clouds here? And James was like, Pam, they're clouds. I said, no, these clouds don't form like the clouds over Virginia. I'm always looking in the sky. I said, pay attention to the formations. I said, look at how I'm like, look at how spaced out everything is and how everything comes together. I said, look at them. He said, oh, well, yeah, you got a point. So I started recording the sky during this time because the rain started letting up and the kids are steady telling their jokes before I even started recording, right? And so we saw a rainbow. And Josiah's our real comedian. He's our, how old he just turned? He's our 10-year-old, right? He said, Dad, Mom, was like, what? He said, you guys know what's at the end of a rainbow? We was like, no, Josiah. What's at the end of a rainbow? He said, guess. We was like, well, they say it's a pot of gold, maybe a leprechaun, but that's not true. That's just made up, right? That's not true. That's just made up. And so he's like, nope, that's not what you'll find at the end of a rainbow, right? I wish I had recorded the beginning of this and I just re-asked the question while I was recording because I remembered it because we saw the rainbow, right? And so it was like, we tired of guessing. Tell us, what's at the end of a rainbow? He said, cows. It was like, cows. Josh said, hamburger meat. He said, yep, cows are at the end of a rainbow. And we're just sitting there like, how are cows at the end of a rainbow? He said, it just is. We was like, okay. And they went on telling jokes. But here's the kicker. So we started admiring the rainbow again. Then a one rainbow turned into a double rainbow. And James was like, well, I wonder where it ends. I said, well, these clouds over here goes behind here. And lo and behold, here comes the exit we have to get off of, right? Gets off of this exit. They still joking. Get off the exit and we're driving. And guess what we see at the end of the rainbow? We, first of all, how does this even happen in Orlando, Florida? What do we see after we get off this exit? Anybody want to guess? A field of real live cows everywhere grazing in this field. Like, what? And we just all started laughing. It was like, oh my God, how does that happen? There are literally cows at the end of this rainbow, like he said. Now, mind you, when he told us this, we was all the way lost down this other way. We didn't know what was off this exit. This is our first time taking this exit. Our first time being here at Disney World, right? How do you know that there's cows at the end of a rainbow? That's the funny story. Y'all should go whenever I can get it uploaded. It's taking a while for it to upload. But go listen to the little 18, we call it the Mini Murphs. What I call it? The Mini Murphs quarter comedy show. Because it's like 18 minutes, almost quarter of an hour, right? No, it's a little bit, I'm sorry. It's a little bit more than a quarter. A quarter of an hour is 15 minutes, right? But I call it the Mini Murphs quarter comedy show. But anyway, you gotta watch it. Let's go back here. All right, y'all. Verse 15, page 567. Gog pen. Hold on, wait. Did I do it? I think I went. Hold on. What I underlined? I thought I underlined cow. I did, but it looked like I crossed out children. Okay, verse 15, I was right. Gog pen, ditto. These different gods were originally assigned certain labor on earth. One had charge of all growing things in the water, another of the purity of vegetable seeds, another of grain seeds, another of breeding horses and cows, another of mortal marriages, another of young children, newborn. Yima, who was chief god over all the other gods, thus assigned them places, and each and all these gods of second degree had hosts of ministering spirits under them, and these were disturbed and appointed. And these were distributed and appointed over mortals as guardian angels, and by inspiration and by other impressions, caused mortals to thus worship their masters, the gods who claimed to reside on the stars. There's somebody. Maybe I shouldn't say it because I might give it away. But anyway, it's people that's still doing this here in America. They're still doing this. Thus did Yima teach mortals that they through him and his earth should rise in heaven after death. In course of time, however, the inhabitants of earth forgot the angels and worshiped the stars instead. Back up at the beginning of this sentence where it says, thus did Yima teach mortals that. After that is reference number 34. And 34 at the bottom of the page says that they, through him and his kingdom only, could man prosper on earth and should rise in heaven after death. Remember, Yima is one of these false saviors. Matter of fact, let's just say saviors all the way around are false indeed. Okay. Thus did Yima teach mortals that they through him and his earth should rise in heaven after death. In course of time, however, the inhabitants of earth forgot the angels and worshiped the stars instead. Jahai, Taurus the bull, the god of force. In the Hebraic language, this same god is called Jah. Y'all can go ahead and highlight that. Gary C. M777. Shalom, shalom. Okay. Jahai, Taurus the bull, the god of force. In the Hebraic language, this same god is called Jah. In course of time, mortals forgot the origin of this god and ignorantly supposed the name to be an abbreviation of Jehovah. In the cuneiform inscriptions, his name is called Bagho. Y'all remember what cuneiform is? Cuneiform is the Sumerian, right? It's like the Sumerian, not hieroglyphs because they use arrows and lines and stuff, but that's cuneiform. In the cuneiform inscriptions, his name is called Bagho. The panic origin is Togad. See plate 70, tablet being the figure of a bull with a man's face. We read that. So plate 70, remember, what is this? 34, 67, plate 70. Let's see which one. What's his name? Togad. Oh, right here. I'm going to circle it. Plate 70 is on page 533, the tablet of Be'in. The picture of a bull. Right here, I circled it. It's right here. The picture of a bull with horns and a man's face. Okay. Let me go back. Okay, let me just read all this over again. Verse 16 on page 567. Jahai, Taurus the bull, the god of force. In the Hebraic language, this same god is called Jah, Jah. In course of time, mortals forgot the origin of this god and ignorantly supposed the name to be an abbreviation of Jehovah. In the cuneiform inscriptions, his name is called Bagho. The panic origin is Tawhad. See plate 70, tablet being the figure of a bull with a man's face. The spiritual meaning, force or force of character or energy to do or decree with authority. As the Pope issueth a bull, of which the foregoing was the original. As the Pope issueth a bull, of which the foregoing was the original. Remember, papal bulls? These are just documents, memos, and stuff. They call it a bull, B-U-L-L. Okay, verse 17. Keoka or Ga-oka, good, genial, and amorous. See plate 70, tablet being the figure of a ram. He is also called Hoba and Goba. Let's go back to, okay, what did I say that? 5. I got page them already. 74. Okay. Page 533. The figure of a ram. It was right by. Yeah, is that it? Hold on. Coca or Goka? Hold on. I'm seeing a ram. Well, that's a ram, like a ram's body with a man's face. Bahua? No, that's not it. The figure of a ram. Koaka or Ga-oka. I'm looking. The only ram I see is this, the Bagan God one. Ba-ua. No, Ba. That's a lamb. Okay, I'm about to lift it back up. Wait. Ba. No, that's not it. Hoba. Okay, it's the same page, page 533. If y'all find it, it's the picture of the ram. This is the only ram I can see right here, right? But that ram has a picture of the man's face, and that's the symbol picture for Bagan God. Okay. All right. Let's go back. Keoka or Ga-oka. Good, genial, amorous. See plate 70, tablet being the figure of a ram. He is also called Hoba and Goaba. Aranya, a protector. See plate 63, Samoan, and tablet being he's made in the form of a lion with a man's face. Let's see, plate 63. Oh. Aranya. This is plate 63. Probably take me a while to find it there, but this is the one with all the different signs in there. I'm not exactly sure which one there. I will need to actually go through and figure out which one it is. But on page 533 in the tablet of being, it says he's changed into the form of the lion, which also has Bagan God under it. Everybody can see the lion. I don't even have to point the lion out to anybody. But just in case you don't know what a lion is, this is a lion. Okay. Verse 18 again, page 567. Ariana, a protector. See plate 63, Samoan, and tablet being. He is made in the form of a lion with man's face. The term horses signifieth dominions in the lower heavens. The term cow usually meaneth adaptability to the creative period. Very interesting. Let me highlight this, because I'm still thinking, how creative is that? First of all, for us to get lost and Josiah's joke. It wasn't really a joke. He was telling jokes, but his foreseeing to actually be something that is true. How creative was that? Let's okay. let's do a big lightning strike. Let's scramble their GPS so they can get lost. So we can bring a little bit of credence to this rainbow story their son just told them. Put cows over there in that field, right? Rainbow right there. Have them look for the end of the rainbow. And voila, they will find the cows. The term cow usually meaneth adaptability to the creative period. And this happened yet. This whole cow story happened yesterday, y'all. This is funny. The term cow usually meaneth adaptability to the creative period. In the original panic, cow meant receptibility, as in English, a term of dollars signifieth the extent of a man's possessions, although he may have only lands and houses. So houses in the Yeehaw had no reference to the animal horse, nor had cow any reference to the animal cow. But in the lapse of ages, these figures received an earthly interpretation. So cows represent, right, Fritz from the mouth of babes. So cows represent creativity, right? Listen. Okay. But in the lapse of ages, these figures received an earthly interpretation. Verse 21. Who carry a kingdom in Ethera, the lords of atmosphere ministering through the through the temples and oracles to mortals of the high-end period, and embraced in Mithra inspiration were as followeth. Made Hayo Za Re Maya Moed Hayo Shima Patis Ha Heya Aya Theremica Made Hiraya Hama Path Modeya. I'm sure that's not how you say that. The Holy Lordess, the Gatha Ahun Naviti, Yakna Haptan Haiti, the Goddess Mother, Gatha Ustaveti, her holy sister, Goddess Gatha Spenta Manu, her holy daughter, Goddess Gatha Vohu Kashathra, the Lord of Measure, Aryama, Fishna Manthea, Had Hayokta, Creator, ever present spirit in all places, ruler over all else, and dispenser. Verse 23. For the origin of the words referred to the cycling period of Uhura. Let me just look at the index real quick. Cycling. Cycles. Cycling. Cyclone. It's probably in the whole section about Uhura Mazda. Not here, but earlier on. Okay, I'm gonna just keep reading. That's something I'm gonna have to come back, so I'm gonna have to look for it. If y'all know what it is, put what they say? Cycling, Cyclean, the cycling period of Uhura, Ahura. If y'all know what it is, know where that is in Oahspe, helps us out. Put it down in the chat box, and I'll look it up. Okay, verse 24. Mas de Yannekeus, faithist in the Great Spirit, opposite of idolaters. That's what faithists are here in Vede. Mas Dea Yakneus. I probably said that wrong. Mas Yakneus. Faithists in the Great Spirit, opposite to idolaters. The Haptons did not worship the lords nor gods, but revered them as exalted spirits sent from Ethera to minister to mortals, both through the temples and oracles, and in the family spirit circle, even as Christians of this day believe that Christ ministereth. With Haptons, however, Mithra occupied the position that Christ doth in men's eyes, and the lords and lordesses and gods and goddesses were under him, alternately with Yema. The traveling hosts from heaven were as followeth: Havana, Ater Vaksha, Frabereta, Aber, Agnata, Raktharwishkare, and Creo Shavariza. It's probably wrong. Verse 26, Hayoma, juice, milk, that which is received. As milk nurtureth the corporal man, so Hayoma feedeth the spirit, i.e., spirit nutrition. That's not our first time seeing that word. Verse 27. Babe, you naked? Not naked with your hat on shorts. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Where's your shirt? Yeah, wasn't expecting that. Uncle JB, shalom, Alicia, yeah, hey girl, hey. Kind of late for the water. I'm looking for a shirt to cover him up. I couldn't find your shirt, so I got you a towel. Hold on. You gotta go to the sink and wash your hands. So this way, because you still gonna get this. Drink yourself. Cover yourself like a nun. Okay. All right. All right. Page 567, verse 27 at the bottom. After the invocation to Ahura Mazda, the Creator, the all-brilliant, the all-majestic, the all-greatest, best, and most beautiful, then the following gods are invited to wit. Vohu Mano, who is the voice and engraved word. In the back period, the scriptures were taught orally, man to man, repeating over and over the same text until the whole 3,000 holy and most sacred verses were learned. The position of the most holy Lord, Vohu, was to be present in spirit and person or through his representative spirit underlings, and see to it that there were no innovations in the original text, and to assist the learner to remember the words. Vohu, i.e., Gamo, signifieth voice. Mano, i.e., sea foam, signifieth word in the Yeha language. Asha Vahista, properly Ashaoa Hava, the God of self-subduing, to teach and assist man to put aside selfish desires. Verse 30, page 568. Kasha Thrava Virya, Kasha Thrag Omak, the most holy teacher and bracer up of faith. I like that, the bracer up of faith. That's catchy. It might be in the title. The bracer up of faith. Verse 31. Spenta Armati, originally feminine, goddess and god, adapter. that which within man maketh him compatible to others. Yeha, how that is home. He who made spiritual homes in heaven for mortals and brought the kingdom of the Father to men's souls. Yeha, Amareth, forgiveness, and ere that, Yeha, to make one's self childlike and willing to learn, to make one's soul like a sieve that it will not hold anger. That's good. I like this one. Miss Amanda, shalom, shalom. Verse 34, page 568. Havani, the bearer of souls to the second heaven, the most holy Lord of transit, Hiya. The emissaries under these, the most holy lords, active on earth, were called Savanhai Visya. 28 of these helpers and lords appointed ministered, hold on. 28 of these helpers and lords appointed ministered in each and all the temples of Baragas, Upper Tibet, and during the religious ceremonies of mortal and during the religious ceremonies of mortals were often seen participating near the altars. Ushi Darina, a mountain above which the most holy lords referred to in verse 35 held their spirit congress for over 300 years. Verse 35. Oh, the previous verse. Let me go back. I'm going to reread the previous verse and I'm going to read this. Okay. Forgive me. I know I'm messing up these names, y'all. Just stay with me. It's like reading a glossary. Let's go back. Verse 34. Havani, the bearer of souls to the second heaven, the most holy Lord of transit, Yeha. The emissaries under these, the most holy lords, active on earth, were called Kavanhai Visya. 28 of these helpers and lords appointed ministered in each and all the temples of Baragas, Upper Tibet, and during the religious ceremonies of mortals were often seen participating near the altars. Ushi Darina, a mountain above which the most holy lords referred to in verse 35, held their spirit congress for over 300 years. In this congress, Zantuma was president. It was through this spirit congress that Mithra, the savior to the Haptans of that day, promulgated the doctrine that Ahura Mazda was not creator, but merely the star Isa or Jupiter, and that he, Mithra, was the chief and highest of all personages, either on earth or in heaven. This was the beginning of a war in heaven betwixt Yima and Mithra. Arbery, the Father's kingdom, literally around about all worlds. Arbur Al Burj, Burj, Alburj, Al Burj, Yeha, Gazi, mortal, or earthly things, became confounded with heavenly, for the migration of the people on earth confounded the stratagems of Mithra, the Savior. Verse 38, Gah, Gah, the change of the watch of the guards, a change of the watch of the gods, a prefix to the names of gods, Ga, true, a fact, Gal, the times of day and evening, the times of day and evening and night. For that Vera, God of numeration of mortals, interest in progeny. Verse 40. Neri Kanha, God of messengers, all spirits coming from Mithra's throne in atmosphere as messengers were under the command of Mera Kanha. Of these, there were 33 messengers in chief, and they held office for 1 year when they were replaced by new appointments. Huh? Okay. Okay. Of these, there were 33 messengers in chief, and they held office for 1 year when they were replaced by new appointments. When the time of changing watch came, they gave to mortals 10 days for feast, 5 days in honor of the ex messengers, and 5 days in honor of the new messengers. It was customary to have 30 vases or dishes in the temples, adapted to as many varieties of food, and each and all of these were also named after the name of the spirit messengers. Zeothra, holy water, also god of sprinkling. When the worshippers were assembled, they were frequently sprinkled with water by the spirits. Interesting. It made me think about something. Remember that time I told y'all a few months back? I was in my car in the drive-through of Panera Bread, sitting in the car by myself, and it felt like somebody shot me with a squirt gun of water. There was literally water on my face inside of my truck. My windows were up. My air was not on, right? I'm just like, y'all playing around up in here. Okay, verse 41. Zeothra, holy water, also god of sprinkling. When the worshippers were assembled, they were frequently sprinkled with water by the spirits. Zeoto, and it has reference number 35 after that. At the bottom, it says Zeota at the bottom. Zeoto, a priest through whom the gods can cause rain to fall. Interesting. Verse 43. Berek me, literally spirit light. Some were baptized by water and some by fire. Moon gods, 4 in number, were usually changed once in 7 years. But when Mithra proclaimed himself God and Savior of the Indian heaven, he allotted the moon gods 100 years each. But the chief of these remained in office for 400 years. This was Arstat, chief moon god of that period, and a friend to the god Creosha. Mortals, however, continued to keep one holy day in 7 in honor of the moon's changes, which were accredited to the change of watch of the gods. In the original worship, mortals were taught to wish hither and love. I'm sorry. In the original worship, mortals were taught to wish hither with love and praise the 4 reigning gods. But they were so full of devotion that on the 7th day, they remembered many of the ex gods also, sometimes 100 or more, all of whom they wished hither with love and praise. Many of those gods, spirits, taking advantage of the devotion of mortals, established themselves in petty kingdoms and atmosphere belonging to Vidu, and thus aggrandized themselves, making slaves of spirits newborn into heaven, right? And so all those worshiping multiple and different saviors down here, you find yourself there when you enter into Hada, or the third heaven. Because if you worshiping saviors down here while you still got your flesh body, you almost guaranteed a ticket to the third heaven. That is not where we want to go when we leave here. We want to be able to skip over Hada, where that's like the hustle and the bustle of New York City. All the people is crowded there, right? That's where all that interaction. That is not where we want to go. We want to first of all remember we worship the Creator only, Him and Him alone, right? Him encompasses all that we are multiplied down here, and we look at the different what's the word I can use? I said the magnified pieces, but magnified pieces, the everything that we are down here, including nature, all the different colors of people, the different types of everything, all of that comes out of the one, right? We worship the Creator alone. Hold on. Right, that's what it was. I wanted to highlight this. I had to find my spot. So when you become a newborn in heaven, or what we call death here on this side, but you don't die, you just lose your flesh, but you are newborn into heavenly realms. First, the third heaven is not where you want to go. You want to make sure you can go right into the second heaven, right? Okay. Let me go back. Art verse 45, page 568. Arstat, chief moon god of that period, and a friend to the god Creosha. Mortals, however, continue to keep the one holy day in 7 in honor of the moon's changes, which were accredited to the change of watch of the gods. In the original worship, mortals were taught to wish hither with love and praise the four reigning gods. But they were so full of devotion that on the seventh day they remembered many of the ex gods also, sometimes 100 or more, all of whom they wished hither with love and praise. Many of those gods, spirits, taking advantage of the devotion of mortals, established themselves in petty kingdoms in atmosphere belonging to Vidu, and thus aggrandize themselves, making slaves of spirits newborn into heaven. You can still see that in that part of the world, like India, China, the Asia portion. All them guys, we see all the YouTube videos and stuff like that. That's what they're doing, right? They're still real big and heavy over there. Beside the weekday festivals, the gods of Mithra, through the priests and magicians, established monthly festivals on which occasion the gods were honored with new prayers, and all these lords and gods of the lower heavens were awarded by Mithra with petty kingdoms in atmosphere belonging to Vidu. Usually, each mortal city was allotted to the keeping of one of these spirit lords or gods, and the guardian spirits of mortals within that city were subject to such chief lord or god. In Christianity, y'all know what we call this? I'm going to see if somebody can give me the right answer before I tell y'all. I'm going to read this again. Stephen, shalom. Stephen, peace and blessings. Listen, the places, hold on. Hold on. I just want to read the last. Hold on. Oh, right here. Let me just read the whole verse, but let me underline this because this is what I was referring to. The city being allotted and what they're called. Let me go back. Verse 46. Beside the weekday festivals, the gods of Mithra, through the priests and magicians, established monthly festivals on which occasion the gods were honored with new prayers, and all these lords and gods of the lower heavens were awarded by Mithra. And here's what I'm talking about. They were awarded by Mithra with petty kingdoms in atmosphere belonging to Video. Same thing happens like over the Americas and everywhere else, right? Listen, usually each mortal city was allotted to the keeping of one of these spirit lords or gods, and the guardian spirits of mortals within that city were subjects to such chief or lord god. Okay. Y'all know what the Christians call these particular lords or god, lords or guard, I'm sorry, lords or gods, and the guardian spirits within the city where they reside, what they call them. Did I say that right? I probably didn't say. You're like, what did you just say? Okay. So you have a region, and all the spiritual activity that's happening in this region is conducted by in the spiritual realm. You can see a hierarchy happening in the spiritual realm, right? If you want to call it a darkness and light happening, right? But if you're submitted to the Creator, you ain't got to worry about the shenanigans happening on the dark side, so to speak. But there are lords and gods, which Christianity calls. Nobody said it yet. Anybody know what those lords and gods are called? Key. Shalom, shalom, peace, love, light, balance to all my Father's precious children. Okay, we ain't waste so much time. Christianity calls those lords, Lord gods and gods, the powers and principalities over the certain regions and places of the earth, right? You ever see people in deliverance ministry? They go to certain cities to bring their deliverance to the city, casting out the powers and the principalities to win it back for the Lord. Yeah, these are those, Lord, yes, thanks, key principalities, right? Powers, principalities, that's in Ephesians, right? All right, I think, don't quote me, but I'm almost certain it's Ephesians. Okay, I'm going to read verse 46 again. Beside, on page 568, verse 46, beside the weekday festivals, the gods of Mithra, through the priests and magicians, established monthly festivals on which occasion the gods were honored with new prayers. And all these lords and gods of the lower heavens were awarded by Mithra with petty kingdoms in the atmosphere belonging to Vidu. Usually, each mortal city was allotted to the keeping of one of these spirit lords or gods, and the guardian spirits of mortals within that city were subjects to such chief lord or god. The places of meeting of these spirits were in temples of worship, and all the foregoing lords, saviors, and gods professed to give the revelations of Zarathustra, who had ceased in men's eyes to be a man, but a principle of truth, descended, from Ahura Mazda, creator. Mayazda or Drayona, feast of sacrament, rice or other meal made into cakes and eaten in remembrance of the vow to purity. Hold on. Rice or other meal made into cakes and eaten in remembrance of the vow to purify myself. Hayoma, and the latter sacrament of the Vedi was saluted as heaven's perfect type of corporal beauty and cleanliness. Yima, a self-made god in after times who announced himself son of Ivanhoe. Kruvara, serpent with 4 legs. This was the lizard species, and in the time of Yeha, they were sufficiently large to eat 12 full-grown men at a meal. What? Kruvara, serpent with 4 legs. This was the lizard species, and in the time of Yeha, they were sufficiently large to eat 12 full-grown men at a meal. They were of dark green color and 50 paces in length. Gacchus, a giant who contrived traps to destroy the great serpents, the Kruvaras. Asha, oratory, power of reciting with effect. Fravashi, pure spirits of the faith's order, i.e., spirits who are not bound to idols, gods, nor saviors, but having faith in Ahura Mazda, the creator. So not to be mixed up with it's two that sound alike in here. They're spelled differently, but I think it's Ahura and Ehor. Let me double check. Hold on. It's probably in the glossary. L. H. Okay. Okay, it's Ehua Mazda, the god Samadhi who inspired Zarathustra. When I, Jehovah, shape my thoughts into words, behold, I am. I am the Word. The Oahspe law, the school of knowledge kept by God and his lords for the teaching mortals and angels. Okay. Ehua, now let's look at Ahura. Ahura. AH. Hold on. Ahura. Right. Ahura, Cetus, a former lord of Jehovah's host, renounced Jehovah and founded a kingdom for himself in heaven. Y'all remember the story? Took the name Ahura Mazda, the all-sufficient high God. And this Ahura is spelled Ahura apostrophe Mazda. So it's Ahura Mazda and Ehua Mazda. Ehua Mazda being true God and Ahura Mazda being false God who rebelled against Jehovah. Okay. Selah, shalom, shalom, shalom. Okay. So let's go back. Verse 53, page 569. For Vashi, pure spirits of the faithless order, i.e., spirits who are not bound to idols, gods, nor saviors, but having faith in Ahura Mazda, the creator. Hold on. That looks wrong because Ahura, okay, so this is Vedic. They do it different. Okay. Hold on. Let me just go back. Okay. Maybe I'm not understanding this. Or is this a typo? Hold on. Let's go back. Hey, hold on. Let me keep my spot here. Y'all help me out. Okay. We remember Ahura. Ahura, he was with the shenanigans, right? So it was Ahura. He went through they even told us about his whole Hana experience being caught up in the knot, right? So that's Ahura Mazda, right? Ehua Mazda is who was speaking to Zarathustra. Zarathustra being a righteous man who loved and worshiped Jehovah only, right? Okay. So on page 566, it says Ahura Mazda, and under Ahura Mazda is creator. Well, to me, it seems like that should be false creator, right? Lesson is said, and we're going to read it again. This is the first thing we read. This is the 2-verse chapter. Descended by the Yeha light through mortals, and in the Vedic gods, revealed from Zarathustra and we'll just say Yuan, Zen, and Hazareyi, and thence into Vedi, and thence into Sanskrit, and by Brahma and by Buddha. These then that follow are the pillars of light of great Jehovah, still standing as the remnants of his beloved sons and daughters in the east. Aranya, the good created things, and Ramaeus, the evil created things. Gal, place of science in heaven. Mori, the second holy heaven. Bhakti, third holy place in heaven. Hirayu, confederate republics in heaven. Hayutumat, emancipated heaven above the lower or bound heavens. And if you go down, okay, the basis of Vedi. You know what? I want to say this is almost like the basis of the. Maybe I'm not understanding because this is like another whole religion that comes out. I guess if I was really engrossed in their religion like I was in Christianity, that's what I think this is, y'all. Correct me if I'm wrong, because we just read the basis of the Ezra Bible, which gives us the background of Christianity and even Luamong and what he came in and did. This is the same thing, because I know who Ahura Mazda is. He is not like the true creator. But I think it's just giving us the background. I could be wrong, right? This is what I'm not too familiar with, so maybe I should just keep reading. But if anybody know, y'all help us out. Okay. because it seemed, just to recap what I'm trying to figure out, it seems to me that either the wrong name is here because it has Ahura Mazda, creator, which we know Ahura Mazda is not a creator, he's a false god, right? But there was a true Ahura. So I'm wondering, I don't know. I just want to make sure I get myself mixed up or mixing y'all up trying to explain this what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, let's just keep reading. Let's just keep reading. We can go back to page 569, verse 53. Fravashi, pure spirits of the faithist order, i.e., spirits who are not bound to idols, gods, nor saviors, but having faith in the Ahura Mazda, the creator. That's the part that's throwing me off. Maybe I just need to keep reading, right? Okay. Verse 54. The opposers in heaven to the Fravashi were the Deva, Pareka, Kathra, Keoza, and the Karapana. Very Thragaha, a god in heaven who labored for the Fravashi and against their opposers. The following plateau in the lower heavens belonging to Vidyu are often described as mountains, and in later days, earth mountains have had corresponding names given to them. That is to say, Mount Shidarina Horati, Zareaho, Yushidaho, Yushidarins, after Yushidarins is reference number 36. And at the bottom it says Yushidarina. Okay, Yushidarins, Erezifia, Freoripa, Azura, Bumza, Ezisho, Arana, Bazana, Vapa, Ishkata, Ken Koto Fedhara, Haman Kuna, Vagna, Fravenku, Vidwana, Azika, Meneka, Vadhidrake, Akeya, Tud Hako, Ishvako, Asnavel, Dreo Shivel, Caravel, Nan Husmail, Kaka Hayu, Antare Kanha, Sichindavu, Ahuna Rakmana, Aisha E. Timbana, Uran Yoved Haya, Uo Shema, Usta Garinas, Saya Maka, Va Freyo, Vusha Jatara at Hu Tabo Sipivarineo, Sipinto Dada. Let me be serious about this. Sipinto Dada, Kajra Kapa, Keo Risika, Terra Beora Crayana Barayana Frapeo Yo Udraya and Quavo. To each and every one of the foregoing plateau and atmosphere was assigned a god or a lord, and these had direct superintendence over the affairs of mortals vertically under them. Vede. Kankulu, a running S, sea in atmosphere, dividing the foregoing plateau. Kaoshiane, god of the SC. Kankulu, supposed by people in darkness to be the god whose coming would be the second coming or manifestation of Ahura Mazda on earth. It was believed that with his second coming, all sin on earth would be put down and all things revealed. Kaoshain, a savior to sin not, and Nar. Christians is doing this too. Verse 59, page 569. Friend Rava, God of the Turanians, the opposers of Faithists, he who inspired the Turanians to war and to deeds of cruelty, Parodars, an angel, a bird, a picture, or as one looking into a mirror sees himself. That which he sees reflected is Parodars. Thus, when a pure man dieth, his soul for 3 days remaineth near the head of his corporal body, reciting prayers and anthems. But on the fourth day he waketh to his condition, and riseth and goeth forth. The first living creature he seeth is Parodars, a female, a flying person of great beauty. He saluteth her, inquiring who she is. She answereth him, saying, I am thine own soul and good thoughts. I am the law thou hast built on the corporal earth. Behold me, I am thyself, and now thou seest thine own self. I am most beautiful, because thy earth thoughts were beautiful. I am pure, because thy earth thoughts were pure. Put away thyself, and come thou and inhabit myself. I am the part that can ascend to nirvana, the second heaven. Thou art the part that dwelleth as a druge, a bound spirit. On the fifth day, the pure man putteth away self, and inhabited the paradise, and so ascendeth and becometh a Lord in heaven. For a VTAT. For a VTAT saith, if for a VTAT saith, if an evil man die, his soul remaineth at his feet 3 days. On the fourth it goeth abroad, but because of its clouds it beholdeth not Paradors, the smothered bird, but it goeth into places that stink the nose, to the places that deafen the ears, to the places that blind the eyes, and like a druge cannot speak truth, cannot find love, cannot learn. The soul of such a man becometh the inhabitant of foul houses and of battlefields, where madness liveth on madness, and evil spirits cannot depart. Verse 62. We almost sang, y'all. No, we're not. Yeah, we are. Well, yeah, for this little portion. But I'm going to read, where we at? An hour and 17 minutes. I'm going to just finish this, because we really only got like 2 pages left after this. And the rest of the page and a half is all the references from this chapter. So we're going to finish this. We should be done about 10, 15 minutes max. Okay. Verse 62, page 569. Kava vis ka sipa, a conciliator and friend of Zarathustra, a high, holy lord and giver of truth. Hora, a one-time man. Hura, the entity, happiness, and all the Avanishore system, which descended to the Haptans and afterward to the Hejans, and finally to the Vedas of Upper Tibet. Happiness is called an entity. So is unhappiness. So is faith. So is unbelief. And they are likened to seeds planted, which grow by nature according to the behavior of mortals into great trees. If therefore a man strive for hura or happiness, it will grow in him, and not until he so striveth. It will grow in him, and not until he so striveth. And likewise of the other entities. I'm going to read that again. Verse 64, page 569. Let me go to, no, 63. Hura, a one-time man. Hura, the entity, happiness. In all the Avanishore system, which descended to the Haptans and afterwards to the Hejans and finally to the Vedas of Upper Tibet, happiness is called an entity. So is unhappiness, so is faith, so is unbelief, and they are likened to seeds planted which grow by nurture according to the behavior of mortals into great trees. Christianity, New Testament talks about this, right? Seeds that are planted and grow up, right? Look. If therefore a man strive for hura or happiness, it will grow in him, and not until he so striveth, and likewise of the other entities. Cam, Kam, the air, the unseen atmosphere, or Cam Quatra, the high air, Ethera, beyond the earth's atmosphere, that part of the firmament beyond the earth and earth's atmosphere which hath laws of its own. Etheria, the higher abode for exalted spirits who have risen above corporal laws. As Anramaeus, evil in atmosphere, looketh downward to the earth to evil, so Spentamanius, good of Ethera, looketh upward to good. And that's the end of that chapter. So the next section is Lords of Hosts in Heaven, and the little subtitle under that is Heads of Spiritual Societies and Atmosphere of Those Days. Okay, forgive me. There's more names that I may not pronounce correctly. Just hold on. Medeshina, Patis Shahaya, Aya Thrima, Maid Yara, Hamaka Path Mada, Yemi Hataman, Unviti, Happy Tani Haiti, Yusta Veti, Spentamanius, Kashatra, Veshtoiza, Aramaniasha, Fushu Hama Manthra, had Hokta, Spenta, Armaeti, Zayothra, and Bersima, Mithra, Kamquatra, Havana, Aravasha, Roth Whisker, Vohu Kasha, Ewu Yunhana, Neo Kaha, Asha Vahista, Hayom, Lord of Hayomarites, Frava Deity, Lord of Fravishes, Pel Vishhanan, and Ustav, Berejaga, Aya Thrima, Tishtria, and Yima, son of the sun, the all light, son Son of the sun, Sun, the all light. Of the second rank above these were the gods of the united hosts in heaven, in other words, the upper house. The creator, chief over all, Yima and Mithra, Amisha, Spenta, Havani, Kavagi, and Visya, Rapid Therna, Fredafushu, they did not say that, Zantuma, Fredat, Vera, and Dei Vama. Awi, Kruth, Rima, A, Biz, Gaza, Fredat, Vic, Penum, Hayati, Vishapatha, Ish, Favashi, Athya, and Keri Kaspa, promoted by special degree. In addition to the above, the Oagas or Gathas of Zenbabate, afterward Lower India, the Zend, the Lord gods, that is, officers of kingdoms in heaven and ruler over nations on earth. Okay, this is a whole lot of names. I mean, it's breaking it up now. Okay, verse 1, page 570 at the bottom. Khan Neothra, an Ohurian of the Zarathustrian period. Ardvi Kara, an Ohurian of the Zarathustrian period. Rashnu, a Fragapadian of the Yeha period. Haha Nata, goddess of the host of Fragapadi of the Theantii period. By the Austrians, Gathas meant gods. Iya Haptan Haiti, special to Haptan of the Haiga period. Satatoa Zaknaya Go Haujvi, and Ahurian of the Fragapati period. And Ushte Bioni Pari V Hayi, and to their descendants, the Gujarati, and whose Varesh, the Ahura, is omitted as in the original. The and Af and the creator are called Armazd or Ormazd or Ormuzd. A Hiram, betrayer of secrets, becomes in the lower heavens a confederate with the Devas, the Druhas, the Kikas, the Paris, and the Uksa of the Yiha period. Neotara of Avian period, an instructor who gave many sciences to mortals. These sciences and religious ceremonies were afterward called his sons, and they are now called Fravishes. In addition to the sciences, this Lord God, through oracles and otherwise, revealed 270 kingdoms in the lower heavens, the most important of which are Zari Vari, Yukhata Vari, Krishuk Shu, Keri Keok Shan, Veya Riza, Venara, Buji Cravo, Beresh Zarsti, Sis Yaharsti, Pere Thwartsi, Vez Hayartsi, Neptaya, Vez Ha Spa. Habaspa, Victor Vuru, and Fran Hanmareta. In verse 37 at the bottom says, Franz Ham Beata. All of these divisions, including the 200 kingdoms, had spirits in chief, which are Lord gods, to each and every one who took up stations in the temples of worship on earth, and employed thousands of spirit servants whom they allotted to the different mortals who came thither to worship, to be their guides and guardians day and night, through the prophets and high priests in midnight worship, and also at dawn in the morning. These spirits appeared in tangible forms, taking part in the ceremonies. Turn it down. Thank you. Verse 8, page 570. Thrita, God of healing, the founder of a mortal race to whom he revealed the secret remedies for all diseases. He enjoined that the remedies should only be revealed from father to son on the deathbed, and when the father thus revealed, he himself lost all power to heal. We read about this before, earlier on in here in Oahspe, in another portion. Hyakas, Lord of the seal of heaven, he bestowed the power of Ahura Mazda on mortals, enabling the prayers of the living to redeem from torments the spirits of their forefathers. Takma, Rupa, cunning, the entity cunning, like a fox whose strength lieth in cunning, like the wind, like the air, subtle, appearing mild, appearing nothing, yet full of deceptive poison. Excuse me. By Takma Rupa, the successful man is successful. Hold on, let me highlight this. This is interesting. By Takma Rupa, the successful man is successful. He bindeth apparent goodness in his face, but his golden footstool is cunning, the air with the golden tuft. Ashi Venuhai, goddess of dress. She was fourth Aaron under Mithra. The duties of her inspiration to mortal women were to clothe themselves and to decorate themselves with gold and silver ornaments. She had 1,200 goddesses under her, and they are allotted one day in each month to speak and teach through the magicians and oracles and prophets and high priests. Some of these spirits spoke through the seers by entrancement, and some wrote on the sand table. Prior to this period, Iranian women seldom wore clothes. All right, and this is the last section, y'all, which is 23 verses, and this is the end of the book of Safa. And it's called Earthly History of the Faiths of the East. Francis, shalom, shalom. Okay. The voice was the Great Spirit, the I Am. Zarathustra, being all pure, taught that to be a faithist in the voice, as it cometh to the pure, was the highest that man could attain. Zarathustra, being all pure, taught that to build up one's own faith in the I Am would produce the highest happiness. Zarathustra, being all pure, taught that each self must learn to build up itself in love and wisdom, and after them, trusting in the I Am. And after them has reference number 38. And at the bottom it says, after them, power trusting. So I'm going to just read verse 4 over. Zarathustra, being all pure, taught that each self must learn to build up itself in love and wisdom, and after them, trusting in the I Am. As the voice came to Zarathustra, the all pure, Zarathustra perceived that the I Am must have a name in order to be distinguished by men. Zarathustra said, or, which is light, Maz, entity of, i.e., light per se, and he called the highest known, or Maz, being the person, the all master. Ormazd spake to Zarathustra, saying, some have I created with a desire to dance, some with a desire to sing, some with a desire to pray. Some have I created with faith in men, some with faith in spirits, some with faith in me only. Let those who have faith in men have faith in men. Let those who have faith in spirits have faith in spirits. Let those who have faith in me have faith in me. The last are mine. What is mine, I will gather together. Mine shall be a people by themselves, of themselves. Ormazd spake to Zarathustra, saying, mine have no gods but me. Mine have no idols nor images of me. Mine bow down not before idols. Mine covenant in my name secretly. Mine remember the 4 sacred days of the moon, which we call the Sabbath, right? In each moon cycle, you get 4 Sabbath days, right? In Oahspe, those are called Sabbath days, moon days, or the 4 holy days or 4 sacred days of the moon is what we term today as the Sabbath days. Well, you got to be careful with the Sabbath because everybody's understanding of the Sabbath is not the same. When I say the Sabbath, I'm specifically talking about the moon cycles in every month or every moon cycle. When it reaches a certain point and the moon will look the same exact way each and every single one of those moon cycles from the time the moon was created to the time it will be no more, right? For this particular planet. They look the same exactly. So if you look up and the moon is not in that particular phase, it might not be the Sabbath. But people who don't have that understanding of nature and the Creator's time clock in the sky, they'll celebrate it based on the Gregorian Julian calendar and from the days of the week because it falls here. You say the Sabbath here, the moon looks like this. This is not adding up. Something is wrong, right? Global purpose, shalom, shalom. Listen, let me go back to 10. Let's read 9 again. It's so good. Let's go back to 8. Nope, 7. Ormazd spake to Zarathustra, saying, some have I created with desire to dance, some with desire to sing, some with desire to pray. Some have I created with faith in men, some with faith in spirits, some with faith in me only. Let those who have faith in men have faith in men. Let those who have faith in spirits have faith in spirits. Let those who have faith in me have faith in me. These last are mine. What is mine, I will gather together. Mine shall be a people by themselves, of themselves. Ormazd spake to Zarathustra, saying, mine have no gods but me. Mine have no idols nor images of me. Mine, bow down not before idols. Mine, covenant in my name secretly. Mine, remember the 4 sacred days of the moon. Mine, honor their parents. Mine, kill nothing I have made alive. Mine, commit not adultery. Mine, steal not, nor tell lies, nor covet anything. Mine, return good unto all men. Zarathustra taught these words, and those who were followers styled themselves Zarathustrians. Hormaz spake to Zarathustra, saying, take the 10 suggestions. What are they? Zarathustra said, my flesh is not my own substance, but Ormaz. How then can I claim 10 how then can I claim the 10 suggestions? These then are not the Zarathustrian law. They are the Ormazdian law. All things come from him. All things are his. Zarathustra, we remember when we was reading about Zarathustra, how he said all of this, right? All things come from him. All things are his. Zarathustra went forth preaching, and his followers were numbered by hundreds of thousands. Zarathustra worked no miracles. He said miracles were the tricks of spirits and mortals. The highest of all good was to do good and be good. God gave not to the Zarathustrians as to Israel to move amongst strangers, but to dwell amidst the heathen within their own countries. And the Zarathustrians never established kings of their own. Nevertheless, they fell into constant persecution by the worshippers of gods and lords. By the time of Brahma, they were nearly destroyed, and again God raised them up and established them as a mighty people. But being non-resistant, they were again nearly destroyed. And again, he went to the cafe. By the time of, hold on, let's take a water break. Israelite Jules, you follow the moon when it's full of light. So does that mean you call the full moon? Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You say you follow the moon when it's full of light. So are you saying that the new moon or the month begins at the full moon? Maybe I'm trying to read into what you're saying. What do you consider the full moon to be? Like what phase? I ain't gonna sound more wait, but you can type it in there. We'll keep moving along because sometimes it's a delay here. Explain the moon cycles more. I'll explain it real simply, right? Think about us when we're born into this world. How do we start? We start as of course a seed, then we grow and we develop, the stomach gets bigger, right? It's the same. Matter of fact, I should have broken that up. Inside the womb is the same cycle that happens outside of the womb, right? Just think about the moon while I'm explaining this. Inside of the womb, right? It comes, it the small seed comes, meaning it's new. The sperm is new. It's coming, which would mean a cycle of new life. And it grows and it fertilizes the woman's egg, and then it gets big, right? Then it becomes full of time. The full moon, I know some people that begin the month at the full moon. How can you start life at the height of life? Right? The full moon is the height of the moon's light and brightness. Like you don't start this way. You aren't born full of light in that fashion. We aren't born full grown. We start small, then we wax big, and then we wane in strength as we get older, right? It's the cycle. You start small and you gain in endurance. Everything does it. Even when running, right? You walk, learning to walk. You crawl. First you're being held, then you crawl, then you learn to hold yourself up. You walk, you jog, and you run, right? The same thing. The moon is gaining endurance, right? And with the little light it has, it lights up little. But when she's bright and at the prime of her time, she's enough light to light up the world at night on her own, and the sun backs up, right? The sun is on the other side now. But when the moon is gaining new strength, or a new month, she just kind of grows in strength. But the more she gets light, the further away the sun gets from the moon, because she's able to now light up the night or the night sky by herself without the help of the sun, so to speak, right? It's the same process. So if you think about the moon cycles that way, the beginning of the month is always a new month is the dark days, but you can't really call a new month if you can't see any light in it, right? So at the first light, boom, it's a new cycle. We're growing again. We got another chance to do it all over again, right? Full blown is the middle of the month. It's always the 15th day of the month. Remember that, right? When the moon is full, the moon when she's 100% full, is two things. It's the middle of the month, right? And you got to pay very close attention, because on the 14th day she looks kind of full. But if you pay attention really closely, you will see she still has a little bit more light to go, right? But when she's fully bright, it's the 15th day of the month. But it's also the 15th day of the month where she's fully bright. It's also a Sabbath. So even if you're learning, even if you have your day count off, at every Sabbath, you should be able to correct your calculation if you understand the phases of the moon and where the Sabbaths fall, right? So if you can't even do it by the weeks and the phases, at least you know the new moon and the full moon. Wait till we get the full moon to start your count, right? Or to fix your count. Just know when it's 100% completely bright, it's the 15th day of the month, right? It's it's easy. You just gotta study it a little bit, not just not just book read it. But I found it's better if you actually go out and observe it, right? I follow the moon around for years, just paying attention, so much so that my children are starting to point out, look, this, yes, you're right, right? That's that's how much I do it. That my children now, and I wasn't like just trying to teach my children, but when I go out, they follow me out the house, right? What are you looking at, Mom? Oh my gosh, yeah, what moon? Okay, so why is it changing shapes? Why does it look different? And they just begin inquiring by watching me. What is Mama doing? What is you looking at? What we want to look for the moon? What? So yeah, put that example on TikTok. I don't even for real. I don't even use it. My kids use TikTok more than I do, and I have to go through and delete half, maybe not more than half of what they posted. I'm like, what is y'all doing up here? People gonna think y'all being raised by heathen parents. I ain't saying we the best, but I think our TikTok, because they don't have TikTok account their own, it's on my phone. So it's created like under my name. And I did start one, what's it like, last year with our last family vacation, just doing little snippets, but I let them play. I'm like, oh, okay, cute little video, whatever. And but then all these videos that you'd have made playing all kind of songs, all kind of cussing with children. I'm like, this is improper. And I just deleted the whole thing. Yeah, so yeah. You ain't never answered me, Israelite Drew. You must have left out. Okay, but anyway, so that's that's just a quick summation about recognizing the phases of the moon. Just everything in life starts at a baby and grows, and then it wanes and dies off, right? When it happens, the cycle happens new all over again. Okay, yes. Yes, you can. And I'm almost done. Okay, so let's finish this. We really only got like a couple more verses. Well, a few more. Yes. Tootie, we got to get to Hollywood Studios today. All right, listen, verse 13. No, let's do 12. Ormaz spake to Zarathustra, saying, take the 10 suggestions. What are they? Zarathustra said, my flesh is not my own substance, but Ormaz. How then can I claim the 10 suggestions? These then are not the Zarathustrian law. They are the Ormazian law. All things come from him. All things are his. Zarathustra went forth preaching, and his followers were numbered by hundreds of thousands. Zarathustra worked no miracles. He said miracles were the tricks of spirits and mortals. The highest of all good was to do good and be good. God gave not to the Zarathustrians as to Israel to move amongst strangers, but to dwell amidst the heathen within their own countries. And the Zarathustrians never established kings of their own. Nevertheless, they fell into constant persecution by the worshippers of gods and lords. By the time of Brahma, they were nearly destroyed. And again, God raised them up and established them as a mighty people. But being non resistant, they were again nearly destroyed. And again, God raised them up through Capelia. This was in the time of Moses. And they prospered and became numerous in all of Vidu and Japheth. For 400 years they were a great people. And about the time the Israelites made Saul their king, darkness came upon the Zarathustrians also. The lords and saviors, through the oracles, inspired the kings and rulers to despoil the Zarathustrians. And for 900 years they were persecuted and tortured, and millions of them put to death, so that the name of Zarathustra was forgotten amongst men. And the great learning and light and knowledge of those nations went out to not return for a long season. God said, because they have persecuted and destroyed my chosen, I will turn my face away from them, and they shall go down in darkness. Behold, when they persecute my chosen in the land of Egypt, I shut out the light from them, and they perished. Let this be a testimony unto all peoples who let this be a testimony unto all peoples, that whosoever divideth my people or despoil them shall also be divided or despoiled. This is the law of Jehovah. Whoso goeth away from him shall not find him. To turn from him is to curse him. To curse him is to curse those that do it, and it shall be answered unto them. So it's pretty much like the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? But on the flip side of that, what you do unto others will also be done unto you, right? That's what that is. This is the law of Jehovah. Whoso goeth away from him shall not find him. To turn from him is to curse him. To curse him is to curse those that do it, and it shall be answered unto them. And that, my beautiful people, is our reading for today. 71, and it is also the end of the book of Safa. All right, so the next page, 572 and 573, is all of the references we read throughout the entire time of reading this book. So let me move this. Tomorrow we begin Bond's Book of Praise, and it reminds me of Proverbs. It really does. It's even separated like it is, like Proverbs is. Hold up. No, not all of them. I was noticing the breakouts of each one in eight verses. Each section has 8 verses. You will also find this throughout Psalms. What I say? Did I say Proverbs? It reminds me of. Did I say it reminds me of Proverbs or Psalms? If I say a Proverbs, I meant Psalms. It reminds me of Psalms. Okay. You do have some different ones, but there are a lot of sections with 8 verses. Okay. All right, beautiful people. So, oh, it's short. It's only a few pages. Then it goes into the book of Esther. Okay. I was mixing them up. When I flipped so far, not realizing that the books had changed. Okay, we're gonna be in the book of Esther for a little while, for a couple weeks. It ain't that long. It's XL. It's 40-something chapters. Okay. All right, y'all. So that's it for today. Y'all, it is Wednesday, September the 7th, 2022, day 206 of year 4, reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets. And on the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1224, we finished reading the book of Sci-Fi in Oahspe, starting on page 566, and we ended on page 571. Matter of fact, I should just make that 573 because that's the references. We'll just say to 573. All right. There's some of my markers. Put it over here. So I can just flip right to it. Put your markers right there. We'll be back here tomorrow. And let's see. Today. What can we say? That's good. Father, your laws are the greatest laws. They're the laws for all, and they're good for all. I like that. All right, beautiful people. So that is it. Bella, I'm about to end it. I love y'all. Praise up. Bonds, Book of Praise. Tikva. Shalom, shalom. All right, y'all. That's it. We out of here. I love y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Oh my gosh, we're almost 2 hours, but I definitely wanted to finish this book today. Sorry if I kept you, but if we ever go on too long during the work week and y'all supposed to be at work, just hang me up and go to work, right? If you're able to listen while you're working, that's fine. We don't do that. If you're able to listen while you're working, do that. But if you're not supposed to be having headphones in your ear or whatever, it's gonna get you in trouble. Or if you're trying to hide it when your boss come, that means you ain't supposed to be doing it. No, Bella already asked. I'm recorded. You can come back later to this. All right. So end the video. Okay, will you get out? No, they can end the laptop. He can end the laptop. Hold on, let's do this. Before I put you up here. All right. All right, beautiful people. I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out. I will see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. You know what? I'm gonna post. I'm gonna leave y'all the link. Just go to Facebook if you want to hear the whole little cow thing and listen to the kids' jokes from yesterday when I was telling you about in the beginning when we was talking about the cow. Just watch the video from Facebook. Once it get uploaded, it should be uploaded in the next few minutes. It's just taking forever to do, right? If you missed it, go back to the beginning when I talked about when we got to the cow here and how it triggered us talking about cows yesterday and finding them at the end of a rainbow. Who would have ever thought that would have happened in real life? I love y'all. I see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.
You can't do that.
Yeah, right here.
It's lightweight and Creator changes color.
Yep, don't drop that. Okay, now you gotta move this. I know this one is wet. Hold on.
I mean, I think
What you want to tell me, girl?